Hi everyone. In this lecture, we talk about the different type of procedural blocks in the Verilog and a general syntax that has been used for defining our test bench in the Verilog. So let's get started with a question here is why we need a procedural block. As we know the Verilog language is a concurrent programming language, then why we need the sequential execution of this statement? And the second question here is, so how many different type of the procedure blocks we can use in Verilog? The different type of procedural blocks. All those questions we can address in the first module. Now moving onwards to our second module, here is the test bench. So the first question is why we need a test bench and what is the general syntax of using a test bench? Is the test bench is different for the combination circuit or for the sequential circuit? And then finally in our last module we took an example that is related to our procedure block and we can verify it with the help of our test bench on the EDA playground. Let's get started with the procedure block. Our question is why we need a procedure block. I can give you a two simple reason of the need of the procedure block. The first reason is if the statement in the procedure block we want to execute and it is dependent on the execution of the previous statement. At that time we need a sequential block so that all those statements are executed in the order they are specified by the users, except if we are not considering the non-blocking assignment statement. The second reason is if there is a delay or if there is a event control that has been specified by the designer that is related to our simulation time, at that time the execution of the previous statement in our block must be completed before the execution of our next statement. At that time we need the sequential execution of the statement. That's why we need a procedure block. How many different type of procedure blocks in the Verilog? There are two type of sequentially procedure blocks in the Verilog, that is initial and the always block. What is an initial block and what is an always block? As the name suggests, initial block, it means a block that has been executed only once in our simulation time. After that we can't use it again. It is generally being used in the test bench for initializing our variables, also monitoring the output that has been generated in our design by applying the stimulus from the test bench. We can't execute the initial block again and again in our design. And moving over to our second procedure block, that is the always block. As the name suggests, a block that has been evaluated and executed continuously in a fashion that will depend on the sensitivity list. So the always block execution depend on the sensitivity list. So whenever the sensitivity list change, the always block will execute. So these are the two procedure blocks that are being generally used for sequentially execution of our statement in the Verilog. And how we can assign our statement in the Verilog. So there are basically two statements we can use for assigning and giving the value to the variable. First one is the continuously assignment statement. It basically means we are assigning our variable and our statement in a continuous fashion using a reserved keyword assign. And for assigning our variable that are being used in our procedure block, we can assign those statements with the help of procedural assignment statement. They are generally being called the blocking and the non-blocking statement. We can go through that in our next lecture. Let's just dive into the procedure blocks and the assignment statement in much more details. The first thing about is the initial block. As we know, the initial block, they can start at runtime 0 and execute it only once during a simulation, which means that always the initial block start at time 0 and all the variables inside our initial block, they will start at time 0. Yes, all the variables in the initial block will start at time 0 if we can't define any external delay in our initial block. But yes, we can define our delay in the initial blocks too, also multiple initial blocks inside our same test bench, and each initial block will be executed concurrently at time 0. It means that if we are defining like let's suppose 2 to 3 initial blocks, then all those initial blocks will run at time 0. So if there is a condition happen here where a one variable that we are defining in one initial block and we also defining that same variable in the second initial block, will it cause a problem? And the answer is yes, it will cause problem at the simulation part because the same variable will be executed at the same time. So how we can avoid it? For that understanding, let's take an example. Suppose a variable, let's say a data, and we are giving it a value, let's suppose 1 bit value 1 here in the initial block, and the same data we are applying stimulus here in another initial block and we are defining it with the value 0. So the both initial block will start at time 0. It will cause a problem here. To avoid that, we have to define with a hash 0. Now the variable b, now the variable data that we are defining in our second initial block, it will execute it at the end of our current time. So on the 0th time, our second data that we are defining with the value 0, it will occupy the value of the data that we are defining at the 1. Let's talk about the syntax of the initial block. First, the initial block, they are being defined with the help of the reserved keyword name initial, and then it comes our begin and end that is generally being used so that our variables inside that they will be executed one after the another and we can group them. If there is a single variable, then there is no need of defining a begin and end statement. If there are multiple variables, so to group them we have to use the begin and the end statement. So in the initial block here we are defining our two variables and we are simply initialized with the variable with the value 0, and we can also monitorizing our value in the initial block. So the stimulus that has been generated by the test bench, it goes to our design, and whatever changes it happen at the our design, we can simply monitor it with the help of display statement, and everything is being executed at the current time 0 in our initial block, and they will execute it only once. Can we use initial block in our design module? Will it they be synthesizable or not? The first thing about that, the initial block, they are not synthesizable because the variable they are generally being used for declaring the value and they will be used only once. So the synthesizable tool will not synthesize the initial block. That's the only reason that they are being using on the test bench part more and preferable as compared to defining our initial block in the design part. Now moving onwards to our second block, that is the always block. The always block, as we said, that will execute continuously depend over sensitivity list, and on that sensitivity list the always block will be defined into two parts, that is the combination block and the sequential block. First part is the combination block. In the combination block, the sensitivity list, and it is purely combination logic. It doesn't include anything that is related to the clock. For example, here showing is the always at the rate ABC. So these are our sensitivity list. So whatever there will be a change in our sensitivity list, or in our case these are the input, the output will change, and it will go always whenever there will be change in the A, B or C. But for the big problems, if we can generally miss our sensitivity list element, so we can generally use reserved symbol asterisk. It will automatically take all this our input sensitivity list, and the output changes depend on that sensitivity list. In our case it is A, B and C. Now moving over to our sequential block. In the sequential block, the always block, in the sequential block the sensitivity list depend on the clock part, and it is being asserted and deasserted with the help of a clock. The sequential block, they always will translate into the flip-flops and the latches depending on our sensitivity list, if we are defining as a synchronous or as a asynchronous. So here is an example of the sequential block using always statement. The first thing about it is the always we are defining with an at the rate, and here we are defining our sensitivity list. In the sequential block, it is the positive edge clock, or we can use the negative edge clock. We can defining it as a synchronous, or we can defining at the asynchronous. So the always block we are defining, then we go for the begin and the end. Inside we are defining our logic. So in our case we are taking at the asynchronous design, so the reset signal is not totally dependent on the clock, it can asynchronously work. So we are defining on the negative edge of reset, our output is 0. If the reset is 1, then the if condition is not satisfied, we go for the else, and the input goes into our output state. Now moving onwards to our assignment statement. The first assignment statement is the continuously assignment statement. So in the Verilog, the continuously assignment statement, they generally being realized with the reserved keyword name assign. It means that any wire or the data that we want to drive continuously, at that time we are using the continuous assignment statement. The syntax of the continuous assignment statement is assign our net expression. There is some delay if we want to add, that is an optional, and we are defining our expression of the different signals that goes into our that net. There are few points that you keep in mind about before assigning the continuous assignment statement. The first point is the left hand side of the continuous assignment statement, they always be scalar or vector of type net. We can't define the continuous assignment statement on the left side as a register, and on the right hand side the operator can be register or the net, and also as a combination of different functions as too. And also we have to keep in mind about the delay values that we have to specify whenever a net is assigned in our continuous assignment statement. For defining it in a much more clear way, let's look at an example. Here we are taking a module called as the continuous assignment, and we are defining the two input as a scalar and two input as the vector, and we are taking address out as the XOR of our two address in and the address into vector input, and the out as a scalar output of our IN1 of I1 and I2. So we can simply define it with an input I1 I2, input 16-bit, we are taking our address input 1, address input as a vector, and we are taking the output as the address out as a vector and out as a scalar. So we can simply assign it with the keyword assign and assign. So the assign statement, it will continuously assigning whatever they will be changed in the I1 I2, and they will be changed in the address IN1 and IN2.